accused of the January 2022 death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, has consistently asserted her innocence, alleging a concerted effort by law enforcement to frame her.
Charged with hitting her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her SUV early Saturday morning and leaving him in a snowbank.
The closely watched murder trial has ended in a mistrial.
The prosecution is indicating that it will retry this case, and the question becomes one of how will they do it.
to consolidate. Instead of having 50 of these things, I try to make them more limited. We did use more updated software. The only difference is it shows emojis. In addition, we took the phone calls and the emails or the text messages, which was presented at the last care data of the defendant's watch Jennifer McCabe's watch. And what it does is it tracks her heart rate from midnight all the way through the next morning. Now, although that information was available to the defense, they could have done what they wanted with it. That information was never put in a PowerPoint presentation. I will not and do not expect Trooper Garino to talk about it during his testimony. He's a witness I'm going to ask the court to recall. The reason I turned that over was to be transparent and to be collegial. We would not introduce it on direct, but as Your Honor ordered, there was an order not to get into third-party culprit evidence. Jennifer McCabe was never identified as a third-party culprit, yet in the opening, the defense suggested something about 227. If the defense is to cross-examine or suggest that a phone call occurred at 227, this would be to rebut that information. I could have waited until after the cross-examination and then sprung this as a surprise upon the defense because it is powerful evidence showing her heart rate is inconsistent with being in a criminal conspiracy, yet we provided it in advance so they'd have notice days before Trooper Garino would even testify about it.
So the PowerPoints that were provided last night, you don't intend to use either one of those in your...
The presentation I would regarding the text messages and phone calls. At the last trial, Trooper Garino read the text messages from the screen, and at the same time, he would look at the phone calls, and he would go back and forth between the papers. This is simply putting the phone calls with the text messages in the chronological order so that on the screen, rather than read text messages and then refer to the phone calls and state there was a phone call, it can simply be shown on the screen.
What do you say about that, Ms. Little? It's content you had, it's messages that came in at the last trial.
The problem, Your Honor, is this is not from a Cellbrite report. It's been individually.
I need to see it. I need to take a look at this. Do you have an extra copy for me, Mr. Brennan?
I can provide a copy, Your Honor.
So Trooper Garino is not going to be your next witness after Ms. Roberts, is he?
It's going to be Peggy O'Keefe, and then it would be Trooper Garino. As I said, I can recall him, and I expect to because there's a number of other events. If it becomes an issue, I can call him to authenticate the phones that we'll need for our further witnesses, which is Ian Whiffen and Jessica Hyde, and then I can simply recall him. I don't need to read these to the jury today, but there's nothing new in it. There's nothing surprising, but I will make this as easy as possible for everybody.
All right, I'd like to be able to take a look at this. I'd like the defense to take a look at it. You're right, Ms. Little, you're entitled to be able to spend some time looking at what the Commonwealth intends to put into evidence today. So, yeah, so I just took, I guess, Mr. Lally's copy. So if you can get me, Mr. Clerk, would you give this back to Mr. Lally? If you can get me another copy today, that would be great.
He's really being called to authenticate documents.
Okay.
The defense may have other plans for him. There's no need to introduce any of this today through Trooper Garino.
Okay.
He will be not only a fact witness for downloading and authenticating, but he is essentially our reader. I can bring him back today. I can bring him back in 2 days. It really doesn't matter. I don't want to deprive the defense of time to review.
Okay.
And so whatever is the time they need, I'll defer.
Okay. So that's what we're going to do.
Thank you.
All right. And Ms. Little, if you can take a look at them by tomorrow and let me know if you have any objections tomorrow. Does that give you enough time?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. Was there anything else before we started?
Not for the Commonwealth. Thank you.
All right.
Your Honor, I did email Mr. McDermott yesterday evening. We did speak with Dr. Wolf yesterday, and he is not available on Friday. Is there another day that works for the court reasonably soon that we can have them come in?
We could do it tomorrow afternoon, if tomorrow is a better day for him.
Let's see.
Yeah, they're just in Pennsylvania, right?
Could we do a Zoom hearing? tomorrow?
No, he needs to be here in person. Mr. Alessi, I issued an order late yesterday. You were the one yesterday talking about this voir dire. I assume that you folks provided that order to the ARCA witnesses. We don't have an address to serve them. We don't have enough time.
I provided a copy.
All right, so we could do tomorrow afternoon.
We have to make travel arrangements for them to get here. Yes. And that's, he has a conflict that begins on Thursday and goes until Friday. And so, is there a day next week that works for the board?
Well, we could do Monday, but what I'm going to order is if it's continued all the way until Monday, the testing that he outlined that you were contemplating or were going to do, that has to be done by then. So we can do it Monday, but that testing has to be done by then.
Okay, we will make every effort to make that happen. I don't have a status on some of the shipping components that they need for the testing.
Okay.
So, we'll do the best for it.
All right. So that'll be done by Monday. We'll do this Monday. I don't want to devote a whole day where, I mean, Friday was easy to devote a whole day because the jury thought they were only going to be here a half a day. Can we do this just in the afternoon?
Your Honor, I am unclear as to what the subject matter of the voir dire is going to be.
So I am indifferent to this voir dire, all right? I'm trying to help you out by having the witnesses here because I found a violation of your reciprocal discovery. So I don't know how long this is going to go. I would assume I'm giving you the opportunity to put them on and the Commonwealth an opportunity to cross-examine them.
First, in terms of time, we can do it within a half a day.
All right. Do you agree with that, Mr. Brennan?
Regarding an afternoon voir dire of ARCA on Monday,
Yes.
we'll defer to the court whenever is available.
I mean, I'd like to keep the testimony going. I've already told the jurors that they have a half a day Friday, so Friday we'll be back to where we were at the half a day.
Will we have a chance to be heard on rulings regarding ARCA? Because I still have the same concern about new information.
Yes. What do you mean? When?
Whenever it's convenient for the court, but I have concerns about these witnesses bringing in new opinions that we will not have an opportunity to consider.
All right. Can we do that the day of the voir dire?
Whenever it's good for the court.
All right. So maybe we'll break with the jury at 12 on Monday. Now they're going to have 2 half days in a row, but we'll break.
Will we still do the voir dire and I'll have witness testimony prepared for Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I have one further follow-up question, please?
Yes.
Thank you. The reason I asked for, and I appreciate the opportunity for the voir dire, it's not lost on me. But what I'm trying to understand is I want to hit the target, whatever the target of the court
So
is.
one of the big concerns I have is that 105 or more text messages were deleted. And you said in due course. I have no idea what you mean by in due course. It's a pending case. I need to figure out that at least.
That-
And there, okay.
And Your Honor, the 30-day, if you may recall, the defense had this very same issue with a matter with District Attorney Morrissey. So you said, I'm unclear what the deletions are, and we're happy to have testimony, the ARCA witnesses can discuss it.
They're to bring them if they still have them.
That is also very helpful, but this 30-day auto delete, a lot of attorneys do that. District Attorney Morrissey
So
did that.
I need something in writing about that. That's not my understanding on how you keep records in a pending case. And remember, you still said out of the blue, months later, a bill came. This gives me pause about that, frankly. Okay?
We're happy to
So-
address that as well, Your Honor.
All right. All right. So,
Get your clarification.
all right. And there'll be more. I'm not limiting it to that, but those are my big concerns.
Appreciate it.
All right. Are we ready to start?
Judge, I just have a, yeah.
So let's figure that out. Do you want to, you know what? Let's see counsel at sidebar about scheduling. All right, so are we ready to bring Ms. Roberts back in? I can take 5 minutes while we line the jury up if you want.
Ready, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, do you want me to get off tonight?
All right.